What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite series, Spider-Man. Now here we have Spider-Man in the packaging. He is part of the Hobgoblin series. You can see he comes with additional hands, an additional face, or head sculpt, a slice of pizza, and his Hobgoblin piece. Flipping it on the side, we have a nice picture of Spider-Man, same on both sides. On the back, we get a little bit of a read-up. Let's tilt the camera up just slightly. It says, a radioactive spider bite made Peter Parker a superhero, but he still gets hungry. Hence why he has a New York-style pizza. But other figures in this line include Spider-Man himself, Anti-Venom, Spider-Man 2099, Hero or Warriors of the Web, Spider-Girl, Warriors of the Web, Spider-Woman, and Daredevil. All 6 figures make the Hobgoblin, Ultimate Hobgoblin, but still the Hobgoblin nonetheless. So what I'm going to do is take a little break, get this guy opened up, and we'll go on to the rest of his review, so sit tight everyone. And so here we have Spider-Man posed and out of the packaging. Now before we get on to Spider-Man himself, let's go on to his accessories. He does come with quite a few of them, but knocking the first one out is the leg of Hobgoblin. I'm going to say I'm not really looking forward to finishing Hobgoblin. And the reason behind it is the scale. Like, right now it seems like his leg is pretty tall, but standing next to Spider-Man, he's not going to be that big of a figure. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the scale issue with Hobgoblin, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, now Spider-Man does come with quite a few accessories. Most of them are just interchangeable hands. Let's move Spidey off to the side really fast. And let's actually go on to the first accessory, which is this head sculpt. Now, this is an alternate head, and it's basically Spider-Man with his mask raised above his mouth, and there's a reason for that. They just didn't do it just for the sake of doing it. You can see on mine there's kind of like a dot of paint that's missing at the edges, and it seems to be on both sides, so it's probably not something to worry about. It's just those little edges that they just couldn't get to. I don't know how I feel about this face sculpt. It feels a little wide to me. Like, putting them side by side, it looks like Spider-Man's jaw gets just a tiny bit wider. And I wish they would have just built off that that mold and then gone on, but oh well, what are you going to do about it? Okay, putting that down, he does come with some extra hands. Let's get the camera to focus really fast. The first hands are these, like, wall clinging hands is what I'm going to guess they are, because they're kind of at an, well, they're at an angle. Like, they're not straight, they're not flush. You can see how they're bending in one direction. But really nice, and I think it's the left hand that's supposed to hold the pizza. But yes, he does come with a slice of pizza, which is a really nice accessory. You can see the detail in the pepperonis. I kind of wish they painted the cheese on there instead of making it the same color as the crust. But you can even see under the pizzas, really nice. That's a really nice sculpt for the pizza. And then, of course, he does come with focus camera. Okay, there we go. He does come with these web-slinging hands where he's shooting out the web. And he comes with one for each hand, besides the fist hands that I have him with right now. And let's zoom the camera out really fast. And taking off the hands is simple. You just give it a nice little tug. And then you put whatever hands you want. Let's actually put the web slinging hand on this side. And let's get that hand off of there. It's kind of tight, but you can get it out. And let's actually put the wall clinging hand on. Something I noticed is that his hands, no matter which ones they are, seem a little big. I'm not sure if it's just my imagination or if his hands are a tiny bit too big. But as I was saying, he can hold the pizza in this hand. it is molded so that the cheese drips in between his middle finger, and he can hold it like so, and it stays in his hand really well. You can see it's not coming out, and I'm violently shaking him. And let's actually get this head off, and well, it finally came out, and it took a nasty jarring of the figure for it to come out, but it'll stay in there. And basically this is something I find really nice about the figures, that you can have them like ready to eat the pizza. So that's actually a really nice little feature. I'm kind of glad they threw that in there. Now let's take that head off so we can go on to some of his paint applications. Okay, there we go. Head's on. Let's move his accessories off to the side. Put his hands down so we can go on to your details. I do have a few problems with this figure. Though it is my definitive Spider-Man, I do have some issues with it. First off, the head. The head is really done well. It's painted phenomenally. The lines are crisp and clean, and you can't even see it. Yeah, his lines are done really well. There's no sculpting in any facial features. It's just the mask over it, but you can see the eyes are sculpted on, which is nice. You can see a little piece of plastic left over from the molding process. Lines done really well and crisp, except on some of the joints. You can see some of the paint application is like rubbing off or too heavy, and then there's this paint piece right here that's too much. The spider on the back is done really nice, as well as the spider in the front. Although you can see a little dot where the paint is missing, but it's no big deal. Then we get on to his abs, which I found tended to be the worst paint application on the figure. I had to go through like several different Spider-Mans, I don't know. But this seemed to be a reoccurring problem. The missing paint right here at this joint, at this part of his sculpting, seemed to be a constant issue. And of course the red pegs on the blue. And then he's painted relatively well at the bottom. It's just those little issues I have at mainly right here and on the butterfly joints. So we can zoom out so we can get a quick comparison. Give me 1 second while I move him off to the side and bring in a comparison. And here we have him posed next to the Amazing Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man series, and as you can see, they are two really different figures, and I really do like that. He was my stand-in Spider-Man, but I'm really leaning forward to him, although he can do some things that he can't, and I'll get more on that later. But you can see some differences are that his lines are painted on while his are sculpted on. He has the sculpted detailing in the costume. But also I like his web-slinging hands compared to his, because his fingers are all like curled in and it's like that, where his is all the way out. I like that a little more. He also came with fist hands, but he didn't come with wall crawling hands, so it's a toss-up. I'm really digging this Spider-Man. Let's move him off to the side so we can go on to Spider-Man's articulation. He has the standard ball hinge Marvel Legends. He can tilt his head side to side, swivel, and he has a hinge in the neck, which lets him look up and down really well. Shoulders on a ball joint, and I just moved the camera, sorry about that. Shoulders on a ball joint, go out, do a full 360. He spins at the bicep, double jointed in the elbow. He has a hinge in the wrist, as well as a swivel. Spider-Man, you're looking fabulous tonight. I can't believe I just said that, but anyway, he has this butterfly joint, which I really dig, and I'm glad they threw it on there, because Spider-Man needs to be able to get into a lot of dynamic poses. He has a really nice ab crunch, which works phenomenally. Waist swivel. And then here's where I feel like this figure suffers from the waist up. He's almost he is a perfect Spider-Man figure, but from the waist down, he has a few issues. Like I said, he has a waist swivel. His legs can go forward really high, back to about that far. But they only go out to about that far. They can't go any further. Also, you can't put his legs in any further than that. They're fixed to have this really large gap in them. But I think this pelvis piece is where he suffers the most. But going on, he does swivel at the knee, double jointed, or he swivels at the thigh, double jointed in the knee, has a hinged foot, as well as some pivots, so you can get him into a lot of nice stances. Although the fact that even with his legs up, they don't go out that far, so that's a little bit of a shame. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is get him posed up and move on to my final thoughts, and we'll wrap up this review, so sit tight everyone. So here we have Spider-Man posed for my final thoughts, and overall, I really do enjoy this figure. He does have some flaws which I wish could be fixed, mainly this pelvis joint. If they have done something different and given him more outward swinging motion, he would be the perfect Spider-Man figure. He is really good in my opinion, and he is, in my personal opinion, the definitive Spider-Man figure to have, although that's just my opinion. Some people say the McFarlane Spider-Man is the best. Some say the Spider-Man from the Spider-Man Classics is. It's all just a matter of preference. Like, I prefer this Spider-Man because he's out there. It's at a time I'm collecting now. I don't have to drop a lot of money to get him. He's just really well done, and the only thing that would have made him better is if he had some web accessories and maybe like a hand to hold on to some webbing. That would have been perfect for me, but as it stands, this is a Spider-Man to rule all my other Spider-Man in my collection. I picked mine up at Toys R Us for about $19.99. I think that's what it was. Came out to about $21 with tax. Unfortunately, that's what you're paying for figures these days, but if you can find this Spider-Man and you need one, or you just want to update your Spider-Man, I highly recommend you get this guy because he is a phenomenal figure. You can get him in a lot of nice poses. Some you need to work at more than others, but it's the name of the game. But this is King Dragons 5000 saying I recommend Spider-Man, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.